Okay, so in this lecture I want to talk about dependent support. Remember I said last time there are two different ways premises could support a conclusion: independent support and dependent support. Independent meaning when they're each taken on their own provides some support. Well, what does dependent mean? Dependent means that a group of premises provides support only when taken together. And why this is important is if a group of premises provide dependent support, if one of them is false, then the whole argument just falls to pieces. The rest of them don't provide any support on their own. They require one another to provide any support. So let's look at an argument with dependent support. It is always wrong to kill another human being. Physician-assisted suicide is killing another human being. Therefore, physician-assisted suicide is wrong. So we see this support 1 plus 2. Together, they're supposed to support 3. Now, your book uses a slightly different way of diagramming it. Lavin uses these brackets to put them together. You can use the brackets he uses or just this plus symbol, whatever's easier for you to draw. Just the basic idea is these premises only provide support for this conclusion when they're working together. Physician-assisted suicide is killing another human being, so physician-assisted suicide is wrong. Taken on its own, if you don't fill anything else in, this premise provides no support to this conclusion. It is always wrong to kill another human being, therefore physician-assisted suicide is wrong. Again, taken on its own, this premise provides no support for this conclusion. Another more complicated argument with dependent support. It is only morally acceptable to go to war when it is a last resort and follows international law. For the US and its allies, going to war with North Korea in the Korean War was a last resort, and doing so followed international law. So it was morally acceptable for the US and its allies to go to war with North Korea in the Korean War. So one is giving us two conditions that have to be satisfied. You need both of them, 2 and 3, to get 4. If you only had one, if it only followed international law, but it wasn't a last resort, given what one says, doesn't provide support for the conclusion. So, dependent support only when the premises work together. Do they provide support for the conclusion? If one goes away, if you can drop one, the rest don't provide any support for the conclusion. That's different than independent support, where if you lose one, the remaining one still provides some degree of support.